Oh, no, that's just life now. Hey everybody, I'm Yvonne Williams with Back to Earth Creations, and in today's live stream, we're doing a bunch of stuff, and my ears are stopped up. Like, I can't... Gosh, you're so weird. I love you, though, but I don't know if I, like, sneezed and broke something. Hey, Abigail. Also trash swag noises. Hey, Valerie. I actually haven't opened your package yet. We went to the post office for the first time since, like...
Last time we went.
Since last time.
Oh,
hey, everybody.
We're monsters.
Oh, yeah. So I haven't even been able to open up my incense and stuff yet. So we are going to start off. Do I sound weird to me? Am I yelling?
Why are you yelling?
Am I? I can't hear. Like, whoa. Whoa. Okay. We're going to do some mail opening. I've been doing some sewing, and I'm going to show you guys some really cool things with my new...
You lied to me.
Oh, no, the paint room trash can, honey. Something laid eggs in my ears, I think.
You lied to me.
I did, I'm sorry. Okay. Hey, okay, I need to... Oh, I can't focus. Tracy says no sound. Can everybody hear me? But yeah, slightly louder than normal. Okay. Hey, everybody. Tanya says I hear you. Okay, cool. Honestly, we woke up like 2 hours ago. So I'm still kind of bumping around, waking up. This is just weird. Winter schedule always, because it's cold, so we don't want to get out of bed. Hey, I'm glad you like our videos. The RV today, right on. We have a volume button. You do? Sabrina, this mug was actually gifted to, well, is this one Randy's?
It better not be mine.
It is. It's got the trilobite. Careful, I'm pretty sure that has broken glass in it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does.
Okay, sorry. He was swinging trash bags, full trash bags around like nunchucks. Are you okay? I don't, Lisa. I need new glasses. I need to go get new glasses bad because, like, I cleaned them, but I don't know if you guys can see how scratched up they are. I'm sorry, babe. I think that upstairs bathroom needs gotten an acronym to English dictionary. I don't even know what you mean, Kelly. Hey, Angie. Watching while I shop at Piggly. I'm getting some weird looks from passerby.
Piggly Wiggly?
Right out, Angie.
There's the Piggly Wiggly.
Chickens refuse to come out of the coop in the snow. Right? I actually woke up to my chickens yelling in the front yard. It sounded like they were yelling in the front yard at least. But then when I went outside to wrangle them, they were all in the backyard. So, hey Rancor. Hey Natalie. Okay, so we're going to start off with some mail opening because I want to be able to get in some crafting time today. Hey Nanny Craft. What? I just read love you anyway. It is, Jody. It is. Yeah, happy belated Groundhog Day, everybody. Are you going to keep doing this, camera?
You know it.
My ears. So this one is from Deborah. Ooh, oh, that's a cute card. Little chickadees and hydrangeas. That is very nice. And the embossing, too. It says, Dear Vaughn. It didn't... Ooh, I'm going to read it out loud. It doesn't say whether I can or not. Hey, Jim. Thank you so very much for the beautiful bracelets. Oh, excellent. She purchased 2 of my Dragonite bracelets custom. I am very pleased with both. I appreciate the time and attention you put into both of them. I plan to wear them this weekend at a social dinner. I am ready for all the wonderful compliments that I am sure to receive. Sincerely, Deborah. Well, Deb, thank you so much. It's not often that I get a thank you note for making something after somebody buying it. So, hey, Jody. Hey, Dawn. I just got my beadboards with lids. I just opened my Amazon. LOL for suggesting it. Right on. Hey, Yvette. I got your Patreon message, but I haven't replied yet because I haven't checked. Because we're still just trying to get our heads on straight today. But that was very nice, Deb. Thank you. Now this one, I kind of know what's in it already because I bought some incense from the Enchanted Oak, which is my hands down favorite place to get incense because whenever you're burning it, it actually smells like not just burning incense binder, like if that makes sense.
Hey, Don, have you seen people doing nature things and turning them into jewelry with the electro thing you've been doing?
I have. Jason Welch actually has some really great videos on showing how to electroform like bark, as well as like covering how to like cover like feathers and stuff to prep the organic materials for electroforming. But it's check them out. It's the Enchanted Oak I think.com. Or if you Google it, it'll come up. Actually, I've got it right here.
Do you have a video on soldering? If not, can you make one?
I don't have a video on soldering yet, but I would love to make one for you guys. This one is ARF. So basically, I'm just going to pull out. I got a lot of incense because I burn like 2 or 3 sticks a day. I don't have an addiction at all. And their prices are so good that I was able, this was only like 40 bucks, I think. Hey, pretty kitty. Ah! Ah! Oh, nice little note. Thank you for your purchase. I hope you enjoy the added incense. Oh, and lavender bath towels. Ooh. If you have any issues with your items, please feel free to reach out to me through our website, Facebook, or phone. Have any suggestions? We'd love to hear from them. I was sad when I went to your website, Valerie, and you didn't have any more of the Roliani smelly things, like the fatigue relief. Hey, Carol. Like, other than that, it's like, put more stuff up so I can give you more money. Thank you, Valerie, so much. Ooh, I smell amazing now. I still can't hear. So we got earth. Oh, what's that one? Prosperity. Whoa, whoa. Gosh, and your packaging's spot on too. I love it. Healing.
She says that she's revamping the recipes on them a lot.
Right on. But yeah, go get if you guys like incense, I highly, highly recommend the Enchanted Oak. Because cones! Because the cones actually stay lit too, which is my favorite thing. Oh, I know the truffles. Oh. And a pen. Ah! So now I can be rocking her merch. Thank you so much, Valerie. This was fantastic. I hope if there's a way that I can leave like a 5-star review on your website, I will totally do that because I know that those things can really help. But
What's your favorite incense?
My favorite is probably the Clovender. It's clove and lavender from Enchanted Oak, and it smells so good. Like, it goes with the... Sorry if I'm yelling. I can't... Like, my ears are stopped up. It goes with the musty old house smell that my old house has, and that my musty old house has anyways, without smelling like... Like, I don't know. I've been happy with all of her scents, that they don't make it smell like burning chemicals or burning, like... hippies. So there's that. Ah, right on, Valerie. It is the Chinese New Year, isn't it? That is super cool.
Questions and comments on the streams about your trip to Comic-Con.
You do it?
I have no idea.
Okay. Funny story. For 3 weeks, Livy with... Oh no, Abby. Oh my gosh, well, I'm glad she got moved away. Hey, Laura. I know, but you ought not burn your hippies. They're good for other things. Burning hippies, the hot new scent from Calvin Klein.
Oh, it's the year of the pig. That explains the new mountain, the World of Warcraft store.
Oh.
It's a flying pig.
Oh.
I just thought that like so many people left that they were like, "Well, you come back when pigs fly, so here's a flying pig mouth."
Oh gosh. That's funny, honey.
And I'm like, nope, still not coming back.
So this is the last package for today, and it's big, and it looks like it's from Amazon. So we'll see. Actually, I want you guys to be able to see my beautiful Randy also. So I'm gonna.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Well, the tripod's stuck because I don't know how to collapse it. Ah, sorry. Okay. There we go. There we are. You're talking to a hippie gnome. Of course, I'm good for something, right? There are better uses for your hippies than setting them on fire.
Not true.
Okay. You guys, Randy. He's right there. He's the best. I love him. He is good.
Cannot prove it.
And we also have Barbie out doing some modeling with her poor flat butt. I just. Ooh. What this?
Why would I have my pants down?
Why wouldn't you have your pants down?
Because you're live streaming.
Oh. Yeah, he. Oh! Okay, there is a note. Whoa. That's a heck of a receipt. You bet. Right? She says, just a few more things to help you on your journey. Yvette, you are the fuel in my engine that keeps me going. Do that, love?
That is a long receipt.
It is a long receipt. I'm gonna fold it up. That way it's less cumbersome. Oh, what's this? Oh. Okay, so this is more bench tips for jewelry making. I'm gonna read it. In every field, top artisans have favorite ways of solving common problems. Making a piece of jewelry is no exception. Accomplished jewelers have shortcuts and special tools to help them save time and increase the quality of the work. The second volume of bench tips includes 86 ways to save time, avoid frustration, or improve qualities in areas of fabrication, stone setting, casting, soldering, and polishing. Ooh, I cannot wait to read this. Because I am definitely going to give this my undivided attention. Thank you so much, Yvette. Do what, love?
Hey, Jim.
Jim! I want to open this. Well, this one, it says selfie ring light. Ooh. Dude.
Get out from under me.
Dude. A little clampy thing. Oh, this is going to be fantastic. Perfect. It has a snaky little ring. So I can illuminate my ego. Okay, I am going to set this aside to get set up where I have a plug. It's super cool. It runs off a USB, so I'll be able to have it plugged in to like my computer. I may actually end up using that one up in Randy's studio because we don't really have any good lighting up there. This one, it is not your fault at all, honey, actually. Pulling it open. It is, Veronica. I am spoiled. I am spoiled, let me say that. But I like to think of it as a nice, like, healthy fermenting that I try to pay forward as much as possible. Oh.
Ever been to Nevada?
These are mandala pillow covers. Ooh, with a little zipper. So the pillows don't fall out. There's one. Oh, these are going to be perfect, Yvette.
No.
Gosh, that's beautiful. Do what, Randy?
Do you guys have a room that you put rules on for like no crafting, like a den for watching movies and stuff? No.
No, we used to, but nope. Not anymore. I break. Oh, I love that one. Oh, the oranges. These are gorgeous, Yvette. Oh, I like the galaxy look of that one.
Ooh,
Like all nebula.
that was a gross bird.
We're gonna need to light some incense. These dogs are farting. and a jeweler's loop. It's like a little magnifying thingy. Gosh, Yvette, thank you so much. Okay. Hey, Papa Bear. Oh, and it's got a nice case, too.
Yvette said you picked them.
Yeah. I guess technically.
What do you want, Lee?
What's going on?
No, nothing. He's
What's
just being a
this?
dog.
Oh.
This pillow covers will match the one, or the wall ones you got.
Yeah. That's neat. Hey, so what's the matter? A loop. I hear you, kitty. I don't know what that little thing is. I'm going to take a closer look at that. That way. Oh.
Did we ever get any downtime?
No.
I'm not sure. We had downtime once.
Which, was it that one time when the van was broken down, so we had to sit there? Yep. No, it's, I think, I personally like being very busy. Okay, Yvette, thank you. But, we did, the other evening, we had worked really hard all day, and, gosh, Yvette, thank you so much for these wonderful gifts.
Hello, Isel. That's how you pronounce your name?
I'm not certain how to pronounce their name. But, oh, and I just lost my train of thought again. Let me get this sorted off to the side. And I'll be able to show you guys. I'll be able to show you guys what we've been working on. Okay, so. I haven't made the bra yet, so she's wearing the apron so that I don't get kicked off of YouTube for mannequin boobies. But I've been working on drafting the patterns for my Spyro costume that I'm really excited about. Got train wreckage everywhere. Oh no, train wreckage. I craft in every room except my craft room. Oh no, Angela. Well, then it's a perfect craft storage room. There's a spider behind me? Yeah, likely. This house is like infested.
Dude, you think that's the worst thing that's coming behind us?
We keep the spiders because they eat the rats. Last time someone suggested using Mod Podge or UV resin on my Shrinky Inks jewelry. The Mod Podge failed, but the UV resin worked wonderfully. It made it so clear and shiny they look even better. Right on, Gimme. ISOL. Okay. Thank you for letting us know.
Huh?
Oh, Nina. Train of thought. Yeah, gotcha.
Seems my chat has stopped.
Oh, has it? So I've had the sewing machine out because I've actually been drafting patterns with fabric that we had gotten in the clearance section of Walmart that was actually it's pillowcases. I've been cutting up pillowcases to resin coasters. Ooh, Branson Con is coming. That's actually what we're making this costume for. I'm gonna go and compete at Branson Comic Con because they've got, I don't know, I'd really like to be able to go and like attend as a guest and like teach panels and stuff there, but a lot of conventions, and I mean I don't really market myself primarily as a cosplayer, because first and foremost I just want to teach you guys how to make stuff. Like I want to learn how to make it and then show you guys because I like that. But I don't know, a lot of conventions, like they're like, you're not 20 and pretty, so we're not gonna have you in. And I'm like, but I can teach things, and they're like, nah. And so I'm like, well, maybe if I go and like, you know, place in your costume contest, you'll notice and like let me in. So it's a theory. We're gonna try it out. My ears are just all kinds of stopped up. So for those of y'all who follow on my Patreon, I had posted a picture of the hand replica that I had made of my own hand. And
eerily detailed.
It is super creepy detailed. Like, you can see all the little, like, all my little creases and wrinkles, and it even picked up my boo-boo that's mostly healed now. But I wanted something that I could hands, there's so much fur on it, hands-free draft a pattern on.
Do you know how to give credit to someone on your Etsy listings?
No, I'm not certain.
Okay.
Normally, if I do anything like that, I just put like the credit in the description, if that makes sense. So this is, the bucket I had wasn't big enough to do, excuse me,
To do your full arm.
to do my full forearm. So I have to just kind of pretend, but this is what it's gonna look like. Oh no, my finger fell off. Well, the little pinky cover. But so, was this yesterday that I made this?
Yeah.
Or was that the day before? I don't recall. It's been quite busy around here.
Did you go with the Adam Savage approach to making the gloves?
I don't know.
Does Adam Savage have a?
He does, and I had searched for videos, and then I didn't watch any of them. I just was like, I think this is how to do it, and so I just barreled forward. So does anyone?
I think you just give credit in the description on Etsy.
Mm-hmm. Is what we do, but there's probably another way. Does anyone know where to buy either leather or vinyl individual sheets for making earrings on a cricket? I know that at Springfield Leather, they'll sell you leather by the square foot, so they'll actually cut it for you and everything, and you can have it already sized for in your cricket. But I imagine some of the softer suedes and stuff from Joann's might work pretty well too. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I haven't really been paying very much attention to the comments and questions and stuff. Production partner. That's right, Marie. Do what, Randy?
Do you have to pay to sell on Etsy?
Etsy charges like 20 cents per post, and then they take like a 5% fee after the sale, which really isn't that bad. I don't think, considering some consignment stores will take up to 50% of the sale, so 5% isn't bad. Mm-hmm. Can someone send that? Oh, Nina. So we got that taken care of. I made my first batch of my own handmade dreadlocks. So these ones were a combination of needle felting to kind of get some of the colors to lay in with each other, but it was mostly just wet felting, like just regular felting, I guess. But I'm really happy with the, hey Rustic. Right on. Daphne says that the one there takes 30%. Yeah, so whenever it comes to that, it's 5% of your sale. Isn't that bad. Just mark it up like $1 or $2, and it'll offset that expense. But so who here is familiar with Spyro the Dragon? Because it's gonna make a lot more sense if you know what I'm talking about. So there's those ones, and then those were made with wool that y'all had actually sent me, with the pre-dyed like merino wool. Can we do more jewelry making today? That's so freaking fun. Last night I learned so much after you show off your costume, of course. Yeah, I gotta get a couple of necklaces made for on Etsy. Right, Adam? Well, Spyro Reignited came out, and I lost my mind because Randy bought it for me for Christmas, and it's amazing, and I love it. Like, I hate Spyro so much. But I was like, time to make a dragon costume. And a lot of the conventions, it's not that they don't want you to do original characters, but they kind of don't really recognize original characters. And so, like, some of them will be upfront about it and be like, no original characters, like for the competition. So I was like, if I make a purple dragon and just call it Spyro, then yeah. So loopholes, but this one had a little bit more needle felting in it to get some of the twisty, like striped patterns to stay placed. Did you use a sushi mat to make your dreads? I'm about to try and make some myself. I didn't, Angela. Because I didn't have one, I used gloved hands, like just my Dexter's mom style gloves, and a foam pad. Do what, Liv?
They're just dish gloves.
Dish gloves, dishwashing gloves. They're my scientist gloves. And then these ones I made with undyed wool roving. I made the dreads and then I went through and dyed them myself, which is my first time dyeing wool. So I was very excited, and it was, I don't know, I'm really happy with how it came out. It was not as scary as I thought it would be. I didn't die. That was good. So now we have tons of dreads for the spiral headdress. And we found this yarn at Walmart because I needed elastic at like 1:30 in the morning last night. And we found this yarn, and so I'm going to make like some braids and stuff, I think. Oh boy. Well, it's all buried under stuff. There we go. So now I can actually show you guys the design plans. Really, Jennifer, right on. It is a ton of work. Like, I lost like a pound. I think I am going to add beads, Laura. I don't know. The whole thing's starting to evolve slightly. So.
You're going as a handler, Evan.
Do what?
You're going as a handler.
Yeah, Randy, I was going to try to make him leather Saiyan armor, but he's like, well, this is getting kind of extravagant, so,
I mean, if you really want to make it, I'll wear it.
I would love to be able to make you the Saiyan armor, but we will play it by ear and see how it goes. So, super rough, but like the headdress, and like it's gonna have wings, and I figured the shoes out, and so I've just been like kind of breaking it down into like the schematics, and figuring out exactly what we need. So armband and like right. Well, she's got a creepy face, the mannequin does, and then the staff is gonna have sparks in it. But so yeah, stay tuned for that. It's Sparks the dragonfly. I only really have time to make one big costume piece a year. Last year was my Capricorn. This year it's Spyro. So that's not fair. I mean, I did the Celtic maple piece too, but I'm gonna go over here and make jewelry, honey. I want to give you a kiss. I love you.
Love you too. How did you deal with the trolls when you first started putting out videos?
Right on. That's a really good question. The question is, how did I deal with the trolls when I started putting out videos? And as a content creator on YouTube, they give you a lot of, sorry, I'm going to be out of frame for just a minute. They give you a lot of control over how you can moderate your comments on videos, and then you can also just delete comments. So if people are just being like, I had a few people be like, go drink bleach, nobody cares, and I was just like, this isn't constructive or contributing, so I just like deleted the comments. But for the most part, we don't really have to deal with, because I don't want to censor people. You know, I want you to be able to, like, you can speak your piece even if you don't agree with me, or even if you have a perspective. It's like I try to take all criticism with, you know, and look at it, and you'll be like, is there a grain of truth in this? You know, do they have any idea what they're talking about? Because I mean, I'm pretty open with you guys, but there's still a lot that goes on in my life that, you know, I don't openly air. At least on this channel. I bitch about everything over on my Monster blog. But so I've had some people make claims that even my closest friends who have known me for, you know, decades at this point would have never accused me of. And it's like, I don't know if you have a full like understanding of my character as a person. You know, you get this like, you watch 3 of my videos and now you think you know everything about me. And I'll try to look at that and be like, I don't know everything. Maybe, you know, maybe they're right. You know, and then I'll be like, but you're still an asshole. And that's the thing is I really feel like there's ways that, you know, there's ways that you can be constructively critical without being bitter and hateful and cruel and just a nice lady. Or gentleman. And so it's, I don't know. And I appreciate that, but it's like I'm just a person just like everybody else. I mess up all the time, every day. And that's all right. But yeah, and that's I try to not take it personally. Like I'll try to hear what a person has to say, but not take it personally, if that makes sense. And sometimes I'll stomp around the house in a fuss for like 3 hours and be like, you know, I'll get my Jimmy ruffled or something. But it's I have to just not pay attention because they don't know me. They don't know my day. They don't, any of that stuff. So, shameless promotion time. First off, to participate in this week's giveaway, be sure to leave a comment on this video. I've got to see he's coming after the live stream is over, if that makes sense. And we are giving away a cat fur cover. The cat laid on this one, apparently. But we're giving away one of our small box of cabochons, and which are still available for sale up on our Etsy. If you want them before Valentine's Day, you'll need to go ahead and get those ordered so I can get them shipped out to you. Right, Sparkies? I don't know. It's oftentimes I'll just be in a dark place that day anyways, and it'll give me something to obsess over. And so I try to obsess over something else. So, but yeah, so that's our giveaway for this week. Do what, love?
You play D&D?
Me?
Yeah.
Not as much as I'd like, but every chance I get. And then these bad boys are up on our Etsy. So they're all just $25. Right, Nina? But yeah, we tried to have a little bit of every gemstone. And they're up for sale on our Etsy. Link down in the video description below. Okay.
Oh, dude, Nina, you don't know how bad that sneeze hurt.
Oh, really, Randy?
Yeah.
But, and then I've been making, this is one that'll be going up on Etsy after the live stream. I never knew how much I would like snowflake obsidian with brass. For years I've paired it with silver, and I just love it with brass though. So well, I hope that you're good. Marianne. Okay. So, and then we also have, now these two are done up for the booth, but these are what we did last week. Oh no, Nina. Okay, and so I think today I'm going to string up some green aventuring, which will also, the other two that will be going up in this style on Etsy today, hopefully, are these two designs. We've got some beautiful tiger iron, which has a little bit more hematite in it than what just plain old tiger's eye normally would. And then green aventuring, which I really love. Like, honestly, with my complexion, I probably like the green aventuring best, but I also never thought it would look so good with brass. Right on, Chrissy. Yeah, you never know. And that's probably my favorite thing about these bead boards too, is sorry, getting the light turned on. There we are. I'm gonna get this turned around. There we are. Popping this into the, right on, Marianne. But favorite thing about these bead trays is you can lay out your design and then make it. So I'll set this one here because that's what we're kind of comparing against. And I also have these wee bitty little bead caps. I have a heart-shaped cab. Do you have any videos on how to wrap one? Not yet, Kimmy, but I thought in nature of the season I should definitely do that. But yeah, you can see it's just a wee bitty bead cap, but I think it makes a really nice effect. Very subtle. And it also keeps, bead caps are perfect for keeping, if you have, now this is all snowflake obsidian and brass, but if I had like quartz with a softer stone like malachite or turquoise or sodalite, the bead caps would keep the hard stones from rubbing against each other. So in addition to um, just looking pretty, they also, I feel they serve a nice function uh, for the longevity of your pieces. Right on, River. Excuse me. Okay. Let's whip out some beads. This is my 6mm tray. That's slowly getting transitioned into something else. How do they attach to the stone? I think I get what you're asking, Kelly, and I think I'll just show you guys. I like pulling out a bit more than what I need. There we go. And now where's my format? There it is. Do what, love?
You using your laptop?
I can open it.
Yeah, you should.
Oh, okay. Karen, I got it on Amazon. Okay, here's the green adventuring. Give me just a minute, love, and I'll open it up. You guys ever seen the bead room tour that has turtle soup? Yes. Oh, goals. I love watching other people's crafty situations, if that makes sense. Okay, give me just a moment. Randy's sending me questions, I think. How do I open it?
You lift the lid?
Oh, there it goes. Okay, man, I've missed quite a bit. How do I close the head? Like the header? Okay. Oh boy. Okay. I have missed quite a few questions. So I'm actually going to get this flipped around and answer y'all's questions real quick. Linda, I get all of my bead trays from like the fishing section and the like Amazon mostly. They've got really good prices on Amazon. What would be the best clay to use for a large project? It would have to air dry. I'm making a lamp. Gosh, it's the gray stuff from like Michael's. I can't remember the name of the product, but it's a gray air dry clay, and I think it works really well. It doesn't crack as much as what you would think on like a big, project. Will you be selling the dreads you make? I was actually really interested in opening up maybe some custom slots to see if anybody was interested in ordering some dreads. Now, I don't know, like it's always a little daunting to get into something like that because it's a new product line, so I'm not sure, like I'm having to start almost completely over on figuring out material costs, how much we should be charging for time, like all of that, because it is very intense to make the dreads. Like I am like ripped right now from going like this for like 6 hours straight, I think. um Zenta asks, will you be doing a video on how to make dreads? Yes, I actually got video of the process, and that worked out really well. You know, Penny, there is epoxy sculpt, and then but that's quite heavy. There is Freeform Air by Smooth On that behaves like epoxy sculpt, but it's very, very lightweight. So adding them to barrettes is a really good idea, Kelly. Um, Barbara asks, how long have you been doing all of this? Randy and I officially quit our day jobs in 2008 to go on the road and sell at craft shows, and then we discovered conventions, and then I posted my first YouTube video in 2012. And yeah, I've just been working like 16 hours a day ever since. Um, so, but we're happy. Like, we like it. I think, yeah, we like it pretty good. Um, Laura asks, do you think a full head dreadlock wig could be made? Definitely. I've actually been really considering adding in dreads to some of the wigs that I already have. Just because I like the look, I like the texture. It's different from what I'm used to seeing, and that's really nice. Because after going to conventions for over 10 years now, uh, it's nice to see something new. Right, Penny? um, Francois asks, you use Lumiere paints and color shift for your polymer clay cabochons. Do you know more special paints I could also try? These were recently sent to me, and they are amazing. They are Deco Art Media Fluid Acrylics. Was it Lisa? Were you the one who sent me these? Yes, I think. Ugh, I'm so bad with names. Like, I feel like a monster when I can't keep y'all's names straight. But Deco Art Media Fluid Acrylics, they're inference, so it's... She sent some beautiful... Oh, God, I just dropped it. Beautiful samples and stuff, too. Right on. You know if any beads from eBay, country of origin China, genuine by any chance? A lot of the times, like, we actually had somebody be very hateful, be like, you just got this from China. I'm like, yes, because that gemstone is mined in China. There are a lot of gemstones that, labradorite often comes from Madagascar because that's where it's mined from, or the Labrador Peninsula up in Canada, or New Zealand, or there's different areas that that is actually where the gemstone came out of the ground. So, and it makes very, very much sense. I think for whenever you pull the stone up out of the ground to go ahead and have the lapidary facility there to go ahead and break it up, because it's a lot easier to distribute the finished product than it is to just ship a boulder across to the United States and have it be labbed and stuff there. So also there's a big conception about things from China being cheap or inferior. Labor is much cheaper in China. But I really feel like even a lot of the things that are made in USA are made at the core with products that were produced overseas. So I think that's a stigma. I've bought tons of cheap crap that was made in the US as well. So I'm a firm believer that people are people wherever you go. And there are people in China and India and everywhere who take pride in their work, the same as a lot of the people here in America and Canada and Europe and Australia. And, it's like, but I don't know. I take everything with a grain of salt, I guess. Right? African Brazil as well. Great gemstone. There's also the extreme sheen. Ooh, I haven't tried those, Cindy. Okay, still catching up on now the only thing to continue on that rant a little bit is do keep an eye out for stabilized or color enhanced, because sometimes like the garnet will have like the dye will bleed a bit, you know, if it's been dyed. And so Fire Mountain Gems is actually really straightforward and reliable about how the gemstones have been treated. If your citrine or carnelian has been heat treated to enhance it to a more vibrant color, if your rose quartz or garnet or turquoise or, you know, has been stabilized or color enhanced or dyed. But so hopefully that helps. But yeah, it's, of course I got that from China. It was made literally by the earth in China. So um what constitutes as costume jewelry? I've been trying to follow along with some of your tutorials, and a friend asked me if it was costume. I've always hated the term uh costume jewelry because it kind of it lumps everything into two categories of precious metal, gold filled silver, and then everything else. So you know, artistically made, you know, copper or enameled copper pieces that have, you know, so much work and everything in them, and they're durable and they're not going to turn you green, and they are pieces of art, are lumped in with pop beads, the little plastic beads that you stick together when you're a child, you know. And it's like, and so there's a negative association to it. I've only ever really, for the most part, that's a broad brush to paint with. Most frequently, whenever I hear people say, "Oh, it's costume jewelry," they're saying it like super snooty, and I'm like, okay. And so um I don't know. So technically I think it means anything that isn't precious gemstone, precious metal. um Costume jewelry generally means inexpensive that looks expensive. Right on, Jim. And that's the thing too, is that it probably also means different things to different people. Like for me, it's developed a negative association because I got tired of my stuff, costume jewelry, being lumped in with what you can buy, like, you know, plastic plated at Walmart or, you know, Claire's or something. So it's, I get lots of stuff from AliExpress and Wish, and most everything is awesome. I've ordered hundreds of things and I've only been disappointed in 3 of them. Right on, Christy. Sorry, catching up on comments. Susan, I use Renaissance wax to seal a lot of my copper pieces. It's a microcrystalline wax that you can buff in, and then I also use PIM or acrylic spray. Oh, sorry, still super behind on questions. Veronica asks, how do you keep the dreadlocks in your hair? Bobby pins? Now mine I actually have just braided into my regular hair. Uh, and I've actually experienced an increase or a decrease in breakage and hair loss for whenever I take my dreads out and then brush. I get less in the brush than what I did back whenever I would just brush my hair wearing it loose. So um, maybe adding some dreads in your fawn headdresses. Yup, Laura, we're on the same track there. Uh, when does Patreon take out? Need to cancel my resin sub before I sign up. Can't have them coming out of the check at the same time. Typically, this month with Patreon was weird. They were having like some problems processing. Normally, they take out on the 1st. So hopefully that helps. Christy says, can you type the name of those paints or a link? I cannot. Randy might be able to, but I think he's juggling quite a bit in there. But it's Deco Art Media. Come on, focus. Fluid acrylics. So if I can, I'll add in the link after the video. I have not watched Steven Universe, though I have seen a lot of cool Let's Plays and stuff. I haven't sat down and made time. Do it? Or shows, sorry. What is the best wire wrap project to do without beads and stones? I had done a video for one that was like 5 wires bound in the center and then kind of spiraled off on the sides and top. So that one would be really good because you don't have to have any beads or anything. When building a frame for a cab, do you use 16 or 18 gauge? Both sometimes. For the longest time, I just used 18 gauge, but then I was able to expand out into 16 gauge, and I really liked it. Like, it makes a very substantial, strong. I've even used up to 12 gauge in my bezels before. What exactly does a jewelry tumbler do? Trying to decide if it's worth it. It I put chainmail, electroformed pieces, wire wrapped pieces, all sorts of anything that I want polished into my rotary tumbler with stainless steel shot that's kind of shaped like a cylinder with angled ends. That way it gets into all the little nooks and crannies. And a little cap full of sunsheen burnishing compound from Rio Grande. And I'll tumble it up. It shines it, it smooths it. If your pliers slipped on your chainmail or when you saw cut it, it had a sharp little burr on it. It smooths all of that out. If you have copper or bronze or sterling silver or anything like that that needs polished, it polishes it right up, and it work hardens it. I highly recommend the ones from Harbor Freight. Rio Grande is where I get the burnishing compound as well as the stainless steel shot. But $30, 30 or $40 at Harbor Freight, you can get a single or double barrel tumbler, and it's worth every penny. I burnt mine into the ground after like 8 years of use and recently got another one. It was a single barrel, so that's all they had in stock at the time, but it works just fine because honestly, I normally don't have 2 barrels worth of stuff. So, Eruptorus is with the right compounds, you can polish stones. Now, I'd have separate barrels for your different polishing compounds. Right on. Ink says I got a double barrel from Harbor Freight for $54, and that's pretty good. Like, Harbor Freight can catch some flack sometimes, but it worked. Okay. Krylon brand acrylic sprays. Crafty line. Oh, how are you liking your plating machine? Is there anything that you had to complain about it? I burnt through all the copper anode that I had, so I need to get another one, and I haven't been able to use it because I'm all out of like big thick copper to put in there. But other than that, I'm 100% happy. Do you know any tricks to keep gold chain in findings from fading? I don't know. I would go with actual brass, but it can turn your neck green. But you can tumble it up, and we'll call it. You can tumble it up, and it'll brighten it back up, as opposed to like the enameled stuff that the gold can kind of fade a bit. It turns muddy. Oh wow, Carol, that's amazing. Have you ever done glow-in-the-dark resin? Yes, and it's amazing. I highly recommend Art and Glow pigments. They're super vibrant. Have you ever heard of the original scrap box? They make cabinets for crafting sewing. Ooh, I've seen those on like, Facebook craft groups and stuff, and it's amazing. I'm such a little mess maker that I'd never be able to close it back up, but one can dream. Can you tumble enameled wire? I haven't tried. I usually avoid tumbling anything that's anodized or enameled. So I'll experiment with some scrap and let you know. Is it a bad idea to kickstart resin by placing it near a heater to activate it quicker? I usually keep my resin in the winter like this. I keep it on a table above the heater vent in the room. It keeps it from feeling cold to the touch, but it's also very, very cold in that room. But I wouldn't. I'd follow the manufacturer's recommendations on the label. They'll say what temperature to store it at, and I'd try to keep it at that temperature because you don't want to make it too too hot and risk, you know, discoloring it or making something chemical science happen. I don't know, not a chemist, scientist. I just mix the crap together to make stuff. Like I don't actually know what's going on. I was at our Eugene Tandy Leather and was telling the owner about your tutorials and said she's watching. Oh my god! Right on, Sandra. Have you ever used fish gravel for tumbling jewelry? At the metal shop, I was curious about the fish gravel. I haven't. I wonder what kind of effect that would give. I do like UV resin, except for I don't like mixing colors in with it because it keeps it like if you make the UV resin too opaque, it won't cure properly all the way through. So I like to do a layer, cure it, paint some on or add the additives, put more on top, cure it. And so it's better for, yeah, it's picky for sure. Brilliant. Make a video on hair jewelry. Yes, I will do that. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to making this necklace for 5 minutes. If you want, Randy, could you just holler them at me?
No.
Okay. Oh no, Jim. Would you recommend glow-in-the-dark resin for windows? Well, I'm not sure what you mean, Susan. Like, for something to hang in the windows, or... Yeah, the higher the temperature, the quicker the set is. Yep, and that will, it will shorten your pot life. So I'm going to do this one. So going through and placing our little 4mm beads initially. The way that they do the little balls at the end of their wire wrapped jewelry is they will take a bit of wire like this and you heat it up with a torch and it just balls the end. And so I usually recommend doing like a test of the project first, especially if you're making it out of silver. That way you know how much wire rough about you're going to need, and then balling it first, because not all stones are able to tolerate the heat from the torch. Like I've had stones crack and discolor and stuff. So I try to do all my torch work before putting the final piece together. But yeah, that's how you do that. Okay, how many repetitions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Getting some of these bad boys. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. But yeah, a little bit of prep work on the front end. It's just like when I'm weaving chainmail. I try to get everything set up and then go through and assemble the piece. Oh, okay. More questions. Can you use bigger beads? Actually, I'm using the, come here, laptop. Haha. Nope, that's not gonna work. Okay. Never mind. Oin, you can use bigger beads. Honestly, you can use however size bead that you like. I personally prefer these ones because I think the smaller beads sell better. They're easier to wear with like daily clothes. The way that I attached the bead to the front. So you can see I wire wrapped around the legs and up here and just wrapped across the back. I've also used head pins before to go through some of the smaller holes on the piece. And then I used this style of bail to attach it to the bead string. Can you tell me how you attached the piece? Okay, answered that one. I want to put my door with those and door with them. Oh, right on. Joe, this is Green Adventuring. Yes, Tashers, I will go over that. So please and cheese. Also seeing layering effects where they have really sharp edges and bends. Is that just hammering? Jamie, that's actually a combination. I've been experimenting with that. It's a combination of hammering and filing. So it's not as easy to, this was just a piece of scrap, but I'll be covering this in an upcoming tutorial. Oh, thank you, brilliant. Wow, thank you so much.
Hello, Maddie's friend Riley.
Maddie, my Maddie?
I don't know. So, hey, this is Maddie's friend Riley.
Hey, Maddie's friend Riley.
She can't walk right now, but she told me to tell you hi.
Aw, well, tell her we said hey too. But I use an angled file to make a little bit of like remove like a little bit of a V. The wider, the more obtuse the angle, the tighter of a bend that you'll get. Now this was done on a 12 gauge. You kind of need a lot of metal there. That way you don't have to. Thanks, Kelly. Fun storming the castle. And then I bent it and then I hammered it and then I went through and filed it down on the sides. So we'll be covering this in upcoming tutorials as well, because it's a nice way to cold work your metal. Now I did actually anneal this one first with a torch, and I'd encourage every single one of you actually to get a butane torch, just one of the little like kitchen ones, because being able to anneal your frame wires is going to open up a whole nother level of wrapping to you with your work. So it's something that for years I avoided because it was so scary. And now I wish I had mustered up the courage and gotten into it immediately, because it has so been worth it. Okay, so now I'm placing the little brass beads. This is also a great way to make sure that you have enough of a material before doing the project. Like, I'd hate to start stringing a piece and realize that now it's, longer on one side than on the other because I ran out of beads. Whereas in this design stage, we can still, like, I could shorten the sides down to be symmetrical if I ran out of beads, or, decide that, this looks a little too much or too little, and kind of figure it out from there. Adam. And that's very fair. And I still have a great fear of, just catching myself on fire. Ooh. I will be building my own tiny home and wanted to know if it's worth using the glow resin for the door windows. Honestly, it's worth a try for sure, Susan. Do you have any suggestions on how to assembly line on resin production? 6-foot table, set everything up, start mixing and pouring. Like, it's oh, right on. Sorry, still catching up on comments. Woo. I don't yet, Spirit, but it is coming, hopefully. What do you recommend for a beginner building up their bead stock, especially for those of us that do not know a thing about the stones themselves? Kristen, I highly recommend, there's a book called Gemstones of the World, and it talks about the chemical properties of the stones, like if it can be exposed to acid, the hardness, where it's from, kind of different examples of varying grades. And it's very textbook and kind of dry, but keep it in the bathroom and look at that instead of like Instagram or Facebook when you're having potty time. And find which gemstones that you just love the look of, and it will educate you on what to look for in the stone, common, treatments and stuff. And then also, there's not a thing in this world wrong with glass beads, or, go into Michael's whenever they're having a sale and just picking what you think is pretty. Because I love gemstones, but I also love gemstones mixed with glass beads with the nice different textures and stuff. Um, and different metal beads with different patinas and stuff. And the best thing to do is to just, pick what you think is pretty. Like, it's a little bit magpie scavenging, but that's kind of the fun of it. Okay, Angel, the wire that I'm using today is a bead stringing wire, which is completely different. I would never use this for wire wrapping, and I would never use a wire wrapping wire for a bead strung necklace, because they don't behave the same. This is very flexible and has a very nice drape, whereas, wire like this is just gonna kind of hang. So a yarn magpie, right on, Dashers. You can use any kind of stones and beads. You could use just straight glass seed beads, like how I have here. These are a size 8 glass seed bead. You could use, little, these were some, I don't know if they're glass or what, but they're pretty. I think they are just glass, but that's all right. Okay. So I actually already had, Toshers, I already had this strung up. So, oh gosh, I got more. Can you anneal? Yes. I'll have a video coming of that, Jody. You do a variety of work. What % of the cost of your finished product is comprised of materials? Honestly, Veronica, by buying in bulk and accumulating and scavenging and stuff, we try to keep our actual product cost pretty low. If we can manage it. So usually I try to keep it to where no more than 30% of the product price is cost. Sorry, we've got a lot of comments, so I'm just gonna keep trying to answer. Excuse me. Can you anneal silver-plated wire? I would not. Though honestly, if it's silver filled, I think whenever you anneal it, the heat actually brings the silver out to the surface. I would experiment with it before doing it on a completed piece, for sure. Do you bother to sell cheap things like $5 items to other countries due to the expensive shipping? I just checked and it would cost $10 for me to ship a pair of tiny earrings. The struggle is really real with that one, and I envy countries that are able to just ship stuff out for like super cheap. But I will sell whatever people will buy to anywhere in the world, but they're gonna have to pay shipping. And so, but that's also why I do videos, to be like, dude, take the $10 in shipping that you would pay, go buy the beads and make it. It's fun. I like it. So yeah. But yeah, in a nutshell, if you pay me money, I will send it to you. So is my perspective on that. I've been experimenting on mixing mica colors to get different effects for my resin paintings and coasters. Right on. It's a lot of fun, isn't it? Like, what did you think of the video, Laura, that I did, where the difference between doing a clear facing and then pouring in the mica pigments was just, it got such a different effect than just pouring it right in. So I was pretty excited about that. Okay. Flipping this back around. The best stringing material, I've had people argue for or against every single material. So if it's something that is within your price range, honestly, I like the 49 wire tiger tail or AccuFlex, but this stuff has worked pretty well. Sometimes whenever I'm doing bead weaving, like for costumes, I'll do blends of, like where it's strung with nylon and silk. Like I'll double up on my, beading floss. But that's just me. Okay, Tashers. What I did, ooh, and I'll show you, is I took a crimp bead. Ooh, okay, Laura, I'll try that. Clear into pigment. String on your crimp bead. Put it through the loop. Put the wire back up through the crimp bead. And then I'm not going to pull it down tight just yet, but pull it down tight so that it's holding, oh, come on, so that it's holding your loop. And then we'll crimp it. And see, it'll put a little bit of a kink in your wire, but so now I'm actually going to, let's pretend like we just did that, crimp bead. So I'm going to thread on one of our 4mm beads, one of our crimp beads, and then thread that tail of our beading wire through both. And now I'm going to come in. Now there is a thing that you can use that will protect this wire here, and I wish I had some. I need to get my hands on some because it'll keep this movement point from wearing through your wire. Is that loop basically a jump ring? It is 100% just a jump ring. I actually prefer the jump rings that I use for chainmail to the these thinner ones. I try to not use anything under an 18 gauge because I don't want it to open up. So we crimp it with the little kidney bean shaped one and then round it down with the round one. And I'm waiting for more to arrive because I ran out of their thing called crimp covers. But you put it over the crimp bead and it makes it just look like a round bead instead of a crimp. Coffee, 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 coffee. Right? Oh, more questions. Totally left my phone in the car. It Piggly Wiggly. Oh no! Oh no. Well, I'm glad. Did you get it back, Angie? Oh, I'm so glad to be helpful to you, Tashers. Wire protectors. Thank you, Angel. So we've.
Your questions.
Huh? What?
Your questions. You're really backed up.
I thought I just caught up. It says I'm at the bottom.
Well, you skipped about 50 of them.
Did I?
Yeah.
No, I answered those. Yeah, I answered those, babe. Is meth from your meth lab available? If I send you money, will you send me that? Yes. By meth, if you mean jewelry, then yes.
Is that tiger tail wire?
This is not tiger tail. It is Beetalon, but I do highly recommend tiger tail.
What is the best stringing wire?
I answered that one.
How many strands are best for necklace stranding?
7 to 49 strands for necklace stranding. Or stringing. Sorry, Randy. Have you ever done anything with mother of pearl? Mother of pearl. Yes, it's beautiful. I love that stone. Or shell. I actually prefer to work with mother of pearl that's been stabilized with resin. You get less flaking whenever you're wire wrapping. So, I forgot the screen name, but if the person who was asking how the bead caps go on the beads, this is how they go on the beads. You just string them and have the cup side sit cupped against the bead. And then string that on in there like that.
I think something that might be beneficial is for you to comment a letter every time you read the comment.
The letter.
Just a letter.
A?
1 through 26.
I don't understand.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whichever one your heart desires, really.
Why would I say a letter?
Just to break up the flow so that you can tell where you stop.
Are you typing a letter?
I'll talk to you about it afterwards.
Okay, thank you. Please don't be frustrated with me.
Frustrated.
Okay. Okay, So now we're just stringing beads. And so we have our little bead cap. Cups, right, Jim? Is it called Beadsmith? Yep, Beadsmith. If you search, these are just flocked bead trays on Amazon. If you type in the search term FLOCKED, which means it's a little like felty feeling, bead tray with a lid, then you'll be able to find these as well as the one that I really like, which is the necklace one. Okay. Just stringing along, checking our work as we go. Melissa says, I'm sure it is hard to craft live and answer a billion questions. Melissa, as someone who is easily distracted and not good at maintaining a train of thought, live streaming is like the most challenging thing. Like but I enjoy it so thoroughly too, but I'm really bad at, finishing thoughts and keeping my head on straight. But and Randy does such a good job moderating, and I don't mean to make his life more difficult. Okay, so I'm just picking up beads and stringing them on. And by the use of, here I'm just using 4mm and 6mm green aventurine, and the little bead caps and 4mm beads that all of this I got from Fire Mountain Gems. But just adding in that little bit of color and texture variation and then adding in those little bead caps, I think it's a really nice effect. Okay, drive safe, Garner. Okay, more questions. Angie asks, okay, that was the one about her phone. Beverly says, do you answer Facebook? Honestly, Beverly, not as much. I need to. I really do, but it's I get quite a few messages, and it gets to where it's like I'm having to allot my day. How many hours of the day do I spend answering messages? How many, and then I've gotten this huge influx of gemstone manufacturers sending me emails and messages and Instagram DMs, and it's like, thank you for, letting me know about your products for sale, but Jiminy Christmas, please stop sending me messages, gemstone manufacturing people. And so I'm not able to get to all of the questions. Honestly, the best way to get your question answered is to just come into one of the live streams. It gives me, an hour to 2 hours a day, twice a week, to communicate with you guys directly. And kind of flesh out the answer in that way. I'm not having to type, which, I mean, that sounds like such a first world problem, but I hate typing on the phone, and I have a wireless keyboard, but it's like I'll be typing and it'll glitch and like double up on like all of the O's and the R's. It was a closed jump ring. Yep, I just closed it. Now, if I could have used a soldered one or like a punched loop, like something that has no opening in it, that would be best. Divine asks, do you and the hubby ever do crafting videos together? We used to before the channel became as successful as it is, and now Randy's full-time thing when we're live streaming is he moderates and tries to help me make sure that I don't miss any questions, and keeps the trolls at bay, and he helps answer questions and like post links and everything. So we don't get to craft together actually nearly as much as I think either of us would like, and whenever we do, it's such a treat. But yeah, just threading on some beads. There we go. Aw, well, thanks, Jamila. I'm really glad you like what we're doing. Okay, getting it flipped around. I've got quite a few questions again. Bye, Mikio. Thanks for hanging out. Okay, right, Susan, he's amazing. Like, 100% irreplaceable. Why not use a split ring? Jim, I don't like using split rings because they get tangled in my neck hair. And it's really hard to get my neck hair out of them. So that's why I don't use split rings. Melissa asks, have you ever bought off of Wish? They have a lot of free stuff. You just pay shipping, which I find is fairly cheap. I don't, because I would spend so, I feel like it's microtransaction shopping. And for somebody who is like sells unnecessary things for a living, I do try to stay away from rampant consumerism as much. And I'm like, am I getting this because I actually need it? Or am I getting it because it's like, oh my God, free shipping? Like, or, yeah. And so, and most of the time, the folks who are selling on Wish are the same distributors that are selling on, what's it called? AliExpress. Like, you can get the same products. And so I'll just go ahead and get it through AliExpress if it's something that I need like in bulk or something. So I stay away from microtransaction shopping, if that makes sense. So, but my friend Lauren buys a lot of stuff off of there and is pretty happy with it. So it's great if you don't like. I usually need like at least 100 of something, so I'll just get it off of AliExpress or Amazon. But if you only need like one or two of something, Wish is, the thing for you. Catherine says, thanks for the shout out. I have a box of shells going to California. She's so excited, wanted to say thanks for sharing. Well, thank you for your generosity and getting your name out there. And I think being open and giving and as generous as possible to other people without bending over backwards and breaking your back, we've got to be reasonable, is the best way to, if you're in a tight spot, clutching what little bit you have in tight fists is not how to make more. It's by, even when Randy and I had almost nothing, we would still share it. And in return for that, that's been, it sounds very selfish, but sharing has helped us to be successful because people saw us sharing and they were more inclined to share with us, and it's like, it was treat people the way that you want to be treated, and they kind of returned the favor, and that's what helped get our business going. That's what helps us to be successful now with y'all. Like, y'all are the most generous people, and you inspire me every day to keep being as generous as possible. But I do also appreciate when you guys are like, well, calm down, you gotta pay your bills first. But what size steel shot do you use for tumbling, and how long do you tumble the pieces, asks Susan. I don't know. They're like 3 to 4 millimeter sized shot, and I'll tumble anywhere from like half an hour if it just needs polished. But some of my electroformed pieces, I put it in there for like 6 hours, and I didn't even have to do any filing or anything, and that worked out really well. So, but if it's something where it only has a very thin like electroplating, half an hour max. Do you use dead soft wire only? What is the difference, and when to use different wire hardnesses? I typically will only ever get dead soft wire if I can manage it, because you can work hard in it. Whereas if you get half hard, you can't make it softer again without annealing. Though we do use half hard aluminum welding electrode wire to make our chainmail rings, because we just need them to be, nice and hard. But everything that I've gotten from Parawire has been, if not dead soft, pretty close to it. Like they start with dead soft and spool it, and that's all they do to it. Whereas I've used some sterling silver that's like half hard, and I'm like, this is it's good for ear wires, perfect for ear wires. But you can also just take dead soft and hammer it a bunch and make it into half hard or full hard. Midnight asks, AliExpress is bulk ordering. Yeah, they have, at least for like beads and stuff, they do have some options where you can just get like 10 of them. But we also have some, they have some on AliExpress where you can get like 100. Like it's sold per lot of 100. And then you can just get like 10 lots of 100 and boom, you got like 1,000 of that bead. Which with some of the stuff that we use in our costuming, that comes out really nice. Like it's great to be able to be like, I've got 1,000 of these little, jingly coins now. Flat wire from Parawire, though I've also gotten some flat aluminum wire from like Michael's, but I really like Parawire. Kiela asks, what kinds of jewelry related items do you often get from AliExpress? I've never checked them out. A lot of the same charms actually that you would get at Hobby Lobby. They sell for a fraction of the price for multiples on AliExpress. So like the cute little crow heads, like the little, like so many of the little, the zinc alloy or pewter, it's always in quotations because it's not quite pewter, but it is a tin zinc alloy that's been enameled. All those little charms and things. Typically I won't really get anything like, I don't much like the clasps from there because a lot of them will have like the levers won't work. Ever buy wire from Rio? Yeah. But I buy so much from Parawire that I'll just be like, I'll just get it from them. But Rio Grande's pretty good too. Sorry, I keep getting Donna says, off topic, but how do you keep your kitties out of your plants? We discipline with a spray bottle. Period. It's gotten to the point like whenever Ember's not very acrobatic. I've never had problems with Ember in my plants. Callie is a destructive force of nature. But I use my spray bottle for leatherworking, and I'll go whenever I spray it. And so now all I have to do is make that noise, and she'll run away, like from whatever it is that she's doing, which is a great way of if we drop something that she's not supposed to eat on the floor. And like stuff, because she'll run right at it and she'll, ooh, I'm not supposed to do that. For the fear of the water bottle, but I feel like discipline has a place, especially whenever there's that language barrier and I can't have like a conversation with her about how that plant's gonna make her barf her guts out, if she eats it. So, Angie asks, you have the time my daughter uploaded her first YouTube video. It's her drawing. Oh, I'd be so super excited if you would check it out. Droplet Draws. Right on, I will check her out, Angie. Jim asks, do you get your steel shot in bulk from reloading supply shops? I haven't, and that's because I use stainless steel shot. The zinc shot that I've gotten in the past, Jim, just made everything, like the zinc came off and made everything very gray and scuzzy and kind of gross. Have you ever heard of using raw rice for the tumbler? I have. Don't put liquid in it. That's a very bad idea. Just dry. Leave it dry. Don't you? It gives it a very nice like matte finish. Like it's not going to get as shiny as if you use the stainless steel shot, but it is kind of a good way of brightening some things up, especially the enameled stuff. Divine asks, if you read back after this stream, I was trying to protect you from the spammer interrupting your live stream. I promise I'm not a bot. I'm a good person. Right on, Divine. No, it's okay. If ever, and this goes for everybody, if ever you see like a troll, Randy's got it. Like, it's actually a lot easier on Randy and myself whenever Randy's not able to. Like instead of going like spam, or troll, because that just puts more messages and it makes the screen move faster, so we're not able to click as easily. But just ignore them. They're trolls. But yeah, Nightbot, that is actually Randy and I do that on purpose. It shares the links to our social media, to our Patreon, to all the different stuff. So, oh, right on. That's good to know, Jim. Okay, and I'm caught up on messages. I think. How's it going in there, Randy?
Yep.
Okay.
You say where you got flat wire from?
Yes.
Okay.
But I think I'm hungry and kind of tired. So I'm gonna go refresh my coffee. Yeah, Nightbot is a good bot. But right on, Spirit. How much stainless steel shot do you use in the tumbler? A pound. A pound per barrel seems to do the trick because you don't want to overfill it, but you don't want to underfill it either. But I use just it's sold per like 1 pound bags. Hi, hungry. Nice to meet you. Right? Oh no! Good granola bars. I have some unpolished gemstone beads. That would you suggest to polish them? Lisa, I think that depends almost more on what type of stone it is. And I'd Google it. Like how to polish, quartz or how to polish, and you might be able to find recommended, uh, grits and polishing compounds and stuff. Best wire for touching skin, so for like rings and such. I really like Parawire because it's enameled and it doesn't make my right, Carrie? It doesn't make my skin turn green. But a lot of folks like it whenever they like the bare copper against their skin. Um, and silver works pretty well too. So it depends a lot on the person, but I really enjoy Parawire. But thank you guys so much for everything. I've had a fan. Do what? Oh, have you tried mixing micropowder or alcohol ink to just part A or B for resin? Then the pot time won't be an issue as it'll even distributed so it won't sink as much. I have tried that. A lot of the times whenever I'm pouring resin, I'll use the bulk of the pot time to pour a clear resin onto like our polymer clay cabochons for the craft crates and stuff. And then I'll add in the mica pigments, mix it in, and like pour it. And but yeah, I have found that pouring part A and then putting the bits in and then mixing it. And then do you know how to solder a 24 gauge pure silver by any chance? I for something that thin, I would use easy solder because it will melt quicker. But beyond that, I don't know. Aubrey, I never pronounce her last name right. She's here on YouTube. It's Aubrey Barak. I don't know. Has some really great tutorials, and she's much more experienced with silver than I am. So maybe she'd be able to be helpful to you. Is this the snowflake obsidian? Yeah, this will be going up on our Etsy later today. Where did you come up with the idea of using 2 crimps on your necklaces? I don't know. It just made it look more on purpose, and that way it made me feel like double secure. So, okay, Rob. Okay. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you guys so much though for hanging out with us, and if you'd like to support the channel beyond just hanging out with us, please check us out over on Etsy because we've got lots of new stuff for sale this week. And then we also have Patreon. That's what it's called. So you can get like craft-along kits and things. But that being said, have you ever thought of soldering your chainmail rings closed? Yes, but I don't quite hate myself that much. Like, yeah, I've thought about it, and I just don't know when or if I'm gonna tackle it. But that being said, though, guys, until next time, happy crafting and have a wonderful day. So.